Hi, I'm Terry, and I'm nuts about stamping. I'm back today with another Sundays with Sizzix project. It's this little baby bib card. Isn't that cute? This is the time of year when a lot of people I know are having babies, so it's time to start making a bunch of baby cards to store away for when you need them for those baby showers. Here's what I used to make this card. I used my Big Shot, my platform, my 2 standard cutting pads, and my square lattice embossing folder. For cardstock, I used Tempting Turquoise and Whisper White. Ink was Rich Razzleberry and Tempting Turquoise. I used the classic Stampin' Pads. I used 2 stamp sets. I used Animal Stories, which is a great stamp set for baby cards. And I used Teeny Tiny Wishes for the phrase on the front of the card. For adhesive, I used my Tombow Multi Glue and my Anywhere glue stick. And then I used 4 punches. I used the 1 3/4 inch circle punch, my scallop circle punch, my 1 3/8 inch circle punch, and my corner rounder punch. I'll clear off my spot and I'll show you how to make the card. Back in a moment. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is create the card base and get that all ready. I've got my Tempting Turquoise card base. I'm going to fold it in half and then use my bone folder to make a nice sharp crease. Then I'm going to bring in my corner rounder and I'm going to corner round the 4 points on the card. Just tuck it in and punch it. Having the rounded edges makes it look more like a bib when we're done. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside for a few minutes. Then what I'm going to do is bring in my card layer. Now I went ahead and I stamped this using Rich Razzleberry and Tempting Turquoise just so that you wouldn't have to sit and wait for me to ink it up and stamp it and ink it up and stamp it and so on. So I got the card base all ready, and what I'm going to do is maybe I will corner round the bottom here like so. And then I'm going to run it through my Big Shot and create the textured front. I'm going to open up my Textured Impressions embossing folder, tuck it in, turn it around. I've got my platform, my bottom standard cutting pad, my cardstock inside the folder, and then my top standard cutting pad, and then I'll run it through the Big Shot. And then the next thing I'm going to do is use another punch. We're done with the Big Shot for right now. All right, I'm going to bring in, you can see the texture on the card, hopefully. I'm going to bring in my 1 3/4 inch circle punch, and I am going to punch along the fold of my card. See, there's the fold. I want to cut out a neckline. So I'm just going to eyeball it, which is probably a dangerous thing to do on a video. You might want to measure it at home. There we go. And then what I want to do is I want to cut out a neckline on my layer. So let me just show you what I'm doing. I've lined up my layer along the bottom, and I've got my corners. I've tried to make it as straight as possible, and then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to line up my punch and just punch out the neckline like that. And then I can move it down just a little bit if I want to. I'm just going to leave it even like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere it to the card base. And whenever you use the Square Lattice Textured Impressions embossing folder, it's always good to use your Anywhere glue stick. If you try and use your snail adhesive, it will tear the fabric of the card because all the fibers in the card have been significantly altered. There. Okay, so I've got that. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to create a neckline for the bib, because you know how sometimes bibs have that little ruffled neckline. So I'm going to show you this really neat trick to make a ruffled neckline. I have a scrap piece of Tempting Turquoise cardstock and my 1 3/8 circle punch, my 1 3/8 inch circle punch. I'm going to punch out a circle. Then what I'm going to do is bring in my scallop circle punch, and I'm going to go around that 1 3/8 inch and punch a scallop circle. All right, I'm back and I have my little scallop circle with the center of it cut out. And then what I want to do is I kind of want to measure it up against my card and see where it would be best to snip. So I'm going to measure it there, and I'm just going to cut it there, and I can trim it later when it's done. And then I want to bring in my Tombow multi-purpose glue and put a spot of glue on each ruffle. Let's get my glue, oops, there we go. Like this. And then just spread it along the neckline as well, like that. Just a little bit more there. Okay, so I've got my glue along the back. Then I'm going to bring in my card front, and I'm going to add the ruffle to the card front. It's nice that it's a liquid glue because I can kind of push it and stretch it. And I'm just going to gently stretch the scallop to fit my card front. There we go. So I've got a cute scallop front, and then I'll just turn it over, stretch it to fit a little bit more. And actually, I don't even think it needs much trimming. I think it depends on where you cut it. There we go. So I have a cute little baby card that looks like a baby bib with a nice ruffled neckline. And I did so using my Big Shot as well. For a complete list of supplies and ingredients I used to make this baby bib card, please visit my blog, www.nutsaboutstamping.com. While on my blog, you can subscribe to my free customer newsletters. I have one coming out this Tuesday. You can place an order with me, or just cruise through and see all the samples that I've posted. I'm Terry. I am nuts about stamping. See you next time. Bye for now.